right, good evening. Glad you guys are here. All this month we've been focusing on cause and solutions to headaches in a more natural, drug-free manner because this is a problem that a lot of people deal with. And the good news is you don't have to. Unfortunately, the bad news is that many people are not finding solutions because they're not getting to the source of the real problem. So we're going to go through today why a lot of people suffer with headaches. And there's many types of headaches. And then what can be done for you or those that you care about to end headaches, not just temporarily, but for good. Sound good?
Yeah.
Outstanding. So when we look at what's going on, the whole purpose why we do talks and events like this is so that we can help educate you to make better choices for your health, to actually empower you to change the way that you view and manage your health. Because there's the things you do every day that are not only the cause, but the solution to the life that you want. And so the better you understand how your body works, the better you have the right guidance to do the things that are necessary to help your body heal the way it's designed to, the better outcomes are going to be. So by taking the information that you learn here today, it's actually going to help you in your health journey. And you can share this with others who may be struggling that don't know the things that you do in your life. And we've been doing this for a long time. Right? We spend a lot of time studying on the latest and greatest research that most people don't know. Stuff that you're not going to hear from your doctor, you're not going to see on TV, it's not on your insurance plan, it's not on the billboards on the freeway, but it's real information that's there if you know where to look for it. And so we go to seminars, we go to trainings, we read books. We're constantly getting into this area because it's what excites us, but it's also what people need to know and understand to be healthy. So we're more than just a chiropractic office. We're a holistic healthcare office, and we're continuing to learn on how to advance in those areas so we can help more and more people experience the amazing benefits we're going to talk about today in living a healthy life naturally. And the reason why we focused on headaches is because this is a very significant problem, probably more advanced than most people know. When you really look at the research, 50% of U.S. adults claim to have a headache at least once or more during any given year. 50%, that's half the population. Now that could be I was out drinking too much, that could be I had a really stressful event, it could be, I didn't sleep for a couple of days, so we can probably cut down some of those. But a high percentage of these people are struggling with regular headaches, which is at least multiple times per month. And some people, it's what they wake up to every day. It's a chronic issue, it's day in, day out, and typically it doesn't get better, at best it's managed, but for a lot of people it actually gets worse. And if you've ever had headaches yourself, you know how interfering and debilitating that can be. For some people it is debilitating where they really just can't operate in their day-to-day life. Others learn to just deal with it. They just have this low-grade headache that they go throughout their life, or they know if I do these things or it's this time of month, I'm going to have a headache, I'm just going to have to deal with it, or I take this medication or I get this injection every month just so I can deal with it and continue to operate in life. There's a better way. It doesn't have to be that way. Migraines are some of the worst. At least 12% of U.S. adults experience regular migraines. This is, again, multiple times per month. And it's an estimated 28 million people right now, just in our country alone, suffering from migraines. That's a lot. You see, and that's not okay with me. And I hope it's not okay with you. And if you know anyone who has migraines, they're not okay with it either. And when you look at the most common cause of headaches, what's called tension or cervicogenic headaches, this is over 70% of the headaches that are experienced by most people. It actually comes from the neck. And so when you go to your medical doctor, which is where most people go, do you think they look at that? No, they're missing the biggest reason why you're having headaches in the first place. And most people, when they have a headache, what do they get?
Medicine.
Yeah, they get a pill. Excedrin migraine, Advil, Tylenol. They start getting stronger, Toradol, gabapentin. They start getting injections. All these different things are out there. There's 100 different medications you could take for headaches, migraines, all these things. But does that ever fix the problem? How long are people typically on those things? Forever, because it doesn't fix anything. Symptom management at best. Who wants to be taking more medications? Raise your hand. Nobody. Nobody comes in here, I want to take more drugs. No one goes to their doctor is like, hey, I'm not taking a lot of medications. Is there anything you can prescribe me? They probably will, but that's not the goal. Because just innately that medications isn't the road to a healthier and better life. But a lot of people turn to that because that's what they're giving. That's what they think is normal. That's what their doctor prescribes and recommends. And that's a big reason why most people are not getting better, because they're not addressing the real issue. Unfortunately, this is more common for you ladies than it is for men. 85% of chronic migraine sufferers are women. A big part of that is hormonal, but there's other factors that go into it as well. In fact, 3 times as many women deal with and suffer with migraines than men. But there's a solution. And there's a way to be able to get better. Now we're seeing it earlier and earlier. So 10% of children, small children, suffer from regular headaches and migraines. A lot of that is device use, other parts of it's stress, it's bad diet. We're going to go through some of those things today. Many of them start as early as birth with the subluxation process and misalignments in the neck that lead to more problems later on down the line that typically never get checked. As they get older, 28% of teens between the age of 15 and 19, right, and this number is growing. This is actually the fastest population of sick people in our entire country right now because of all the things we're talking about. And it's not just one type of headache. People think headaches, but there's actually multiple types of headaches. The most common is the tension headache that we talked about. Typically that's a dull ache. You may feel it in your neck. You may feel it into the base of your skull. It may come around to this front area here. This is over 70% of headaches that people suffer with, and this is the most correctable. There's also temporal headaches. They're going to have headaches here on the side, sometimes throbbing. This can be associated with high blood pressure, other medical related issues, high levels of stress, the lack of oxygen and blood flow to your brain, again, due to that being cut off in your neck. Migraines. So migraines can happen in many different areas. These are typically more severe. Yeah, it can be sometimes right behind the eye or right in this area. A lot of times it's associated with other symptoms as well. Could be nausea, could be dizziness, could be lack sensitivity to light and sound, where you have to lock yourself in a dark room or avoid all these things. And migraines sometimes can last for hours and even days. Not fun, right? Some people obviously have experienced these before. Cluster headaches are some of the worst, and I hope you never have to deal with these. These are typically brought on by stress, major toxicity, alcohol, things like that. But these are severe debilitating headaches that can last for days on end. I don't see a lot of people who are on these, but when they do, it is absolutely severe. People sometimes like, I can't even live this way. These are some of the absolute worst. Allergy headaches, you probably had those before. You have nasal sinuses, you bend over and your whole head hurts. If you have chronic problems, that means you likely have some underlying inflammatory issue that's causing sinus backup consistently, and it's clogging all these areas in your frontal and temporal sinuses here. And then occipital neuralgia. So usually this is going to be a dull headache at the base of the neck, always associated with posture and what's going on with the neck. It's compressing these nerves at the base of your skull called the occipital nerves, and then the blood flow that also goes into the base of your skull. So whether it's one or multiple types of these headaches, there's different causes and triggers, but there's similar solutions on how to avoid and correct them. And many people can not only get a reduction in headaches, but eliminate them for good, right? That's the really good news. So one of the dangerous beliefs is understanding that the headache is the problem. The headache is the symptom. The headache is the effect. It's the effect of your body's inability to deal with some type of stress, or typically multiple. And when your body can't handle a stress or is not able to operate as designed, it creates a symptom. For a lot of people, that symptom is headaches. So you know if you have a headache, something is wrong somewhere in your body. And you can either choose to mask or ignore the symptom, like take a medication or get an injection or do some of these other things, or look for what's causing this. How can I actually get this better? What are some things I can do to get rid of this problem once and for all? So that's why we want to go so far beyond just the symptom. If you really want to get better, you have to understand how your body works. And that symptoms are actually a good thing. It's your body's warning system of there's a problem, there's a stress, there's a health concern that you should be looking at. And so I'm going to give you this signal of pain or discomfort or some type of medical concern. When we look at how your body works, you have this what's called neutral point where you really feel okay. Maybe you get headaches every once in a while. It's not a chronic thing. You get occasional stiffness or issues. You're not really diagnosed with any medical concerns per se. You don't necessarily have a medication you take every day. You're seemingly okay, but there's really no plan for your health. You're not measuring your progress or how things are going. You're kind of just waiting and see. That's reactive healthcare. This is what most of America does. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You go to the doctor, nothing comes up, you must be fine. If I feel okay, then there's nothing wrong. And that is so far from the truth. What happens is over time is the stress, the issues, they build up. And your body struggles more and more to be able to deal with that. That's when the signs and symptoms shows up. An important thing to understand is the symptom is late stage, not early stage. In fact, it's one of the last things that comes on, and it's one of the first things to go away. Because again, it's that check engine light. It's that severe problem, right? The check engine light doesn't come on when you're just like a half a quart low. It comes on when your engine is like on fire, right? And then you put some oil in and it goes off, but did that really fix the problem? Maybe it did, but maybe it's a bigger issue, right? So you don't just go on hoping it's okay. Typically you take it to the mechanic and they look at it like, oh, it's actually this problem or this problem. It's like, well, can I just leave that there? Sure you can, but it's likely to cause a bigger problem later on down the line, and you're going to be dealing with a much more significant problem. That's kind of how your body works too, right? You get signs and symptoms. You can mask them up. You can ignore them. You can just keep on going. But what does that lead to? Bigger problems, worse health issues, more diagnoses, harder for your body to deal with things. And the more medications you take, the more side effects you have to deal with. And now you're treating the symptoms of those, and that compounds to more health problems. And that's what leads to early death, right? We had a class last week and we talked about it. 5 out of 6 Americans die from a chronic health-related issue. It's not old age. It's not an accident. It's not bad genes. It's a chronic health issue. 5 out of 6 go through this process. The stresses build up. The signs and symptoms show up. They treat or manage them. And eventually that takes their life. It doesn't have to be that way. This is the pathway to health and wellness, where you actually have a plan for how your body works. You're measuring real things. You're looking at the source of how your body's working. You have a plan for how you eat and how you move and how you take care of yourself. And your doctor's on the same page with you in that plan. And the goal is to optimize your health, not just minimize or manage a symptom. Can you see the difference in how this may affect the quality of your life? And this isn't a journey that ends. This is a journey that improves and compounds over time. Because health is a journey. It's not a destination. It's not like, okay, my headaches are gone. I'm going to stop doing all the things that got me here. No, you continue doing those things because that's what actually gets you healthy. And this is how that works neurologically. Your nervous system is what runs your whole body. Every single thing that you feel, every movement, every cell, tissue, and organ is connected from your brain through your nervous system. Now, there's 3 different parts of your nervous system. There's motor nerves. This is what controls your muscles and how you move. There's autonomic nerves. So this regulates all the different parts of your body that you don't have to think about. This is how your heart beats and your lungs breathe. This is how you digest food and secrete hormones and chemicals. And then there's sensory nerves. So sensory nerves is what you feel and your sensitivities, hot, cold, pain, pressure. And all 3 of these things are happening all the time. This is what your central nervous system is made up of. Now, again, a lot of this stuff you don't necessarily feel. You don't have to think about your heart beating or digesting food. And if everything's working well, you don't feel the digestion happening along the lines. You don't feel your gallbladder secreting bile. You don't feel your liver breaking stuff down. It's just happening, right? It's happening behind the scenes. If all your muscles are moving well and your body's healthy, you don't feel every single muscle contracting as you take a step forward, as you turn your head, or as you look to focus. It just happens. But when things aren't working well and it's at its most severe, that's when you feel the muscle weakness, the spasms, the fatigue, the pain, the oversensitivity, the digestive problems. All these things start showing up when this nervous system is being constantly stressed and interfered with, and it's no longer functioning optimally. And here's the important thing to understand. The symptom, you only feel 10% of that. 10% of your nerves, of your whole body, are the ones that recognize the symptom. So you can see why that's so late stage. What if we put all of our focus in on just this? You're missing 90%. That's our American medical system, and that's why so many people struggle with their health. Because by the time they feel it, or they get diagnosed with heart disease or cancer or diabetes or autoimmune disorder, it's already really bad. They're already very, very sick, and it's probably been going on for years, maybe even decades to get to that point. By the time you got these debilitating migraines, that didn't show up yesterday out of the blue. That's probably been building up for many years, unless there was a severe accident or something crazy that had happened. Most issues are progressive over time, and they compound and they compound, and then the symptom shows up. So there's 2 ways to look at your health. There's the disease model, which is everything we just talked about. That's this side. That's the management of treatment of symptoms and disease with drug shots and surgeries, right? We take more drugs than any other country in the world. We spend more money on medical care, yet our health is at the bottom. So does that seem like the best path? No. Why do most people still do it? Just what they know. It's easy to do. Or it's easy to go to the store and pop Excedrin migraine. It is. Yeah, it's on your insurance plan. It's what you were taught from the beginning of time of like, this is how health works. You get sick, you go to the doctor. The doctor prescribes you some type of drug. If it doesn't work, you come back, you get another one. If that doesn't work, they do something else. If that doesn't work, there must be some kind of surgery that's needed. And then thank goodness that this exists. But there's a better way. There's a health model which works with your body. And this is a different approach. It's not that your body's sick or broken down or you have bad genes or bad parts. It's that your body is designed to be healthy and things work in harmony. But things can sometimes get out of balance, and that's what we want to focus on, is creating more of a harmonious balance. So another dangerous belief is that drugs work. There's a segment of people that believe, hey, drugs are great, drugs work. Thank goodness I'm taking my blood pressure medications because my blood pressure is better now. Thank goodness I'm taking my diabetes pills. Otherwise, I would have neuropathy or my feet would fall off. Not like, hey, maybe I should change my diet and fix my blood sugar. Or, hey, there's a reason why this is happening. Maybe I should get to the cause of that. And there's a segment of people that are never going to change this. But there's a lot of people that are looking for something different, but they just don't know it. Right? When you look at drugs, it's unfortunately crazy common. 1 out of 4 kids is taking a medication for a chronic health concern. By the time you reach age 60, there's a 1 in 100 chance that you're not taking some kind of medication for a chronic health concern. For a couple in retirement, it's a 1 in 10,000 chance that neither one of them is taking some type of medication or has some type of chronic medical concern. And it's 1 in 100,000 for the whole family. Pretty crazy stats, right? I mean, we take millions and millions of drugs every day, billions a year. We're spending hundreds of billions, trillions of dollars on this. Yet our health just continues to decline. The issues get worse and worse and worse. So when is enough enough? When does that actually change? B.J. Palmer was the developer of chiropractic, and this was long, long time ago, early 1900s. Even back then, medicine is about disease and what makes people die. Do we want to study how to not die? Or do we want to study how to live and be healthy? That's what chiropractic is all about. And that was what chiropractic was founded on. That was before all the stuff that we have now. That was before even our modern medical system. This is when medicine was just kind of starting to come up at that point in the early 1900s. And this has been our philosophy for this entire time, is we are not medicine. It's not alternative medicine. It's a completely different philosophy of how to take care of your health, working with your body the way it was intended and designed. And that's the good news. Your body's designed to be healthy. That's what's normal. Your blood pressure is supposed to be normal. You're not supposed to have headaches. You're not supposed to have aches and pains and high cholesterol and diabetes and all these things. So what's the answer? How do we actually get better? Well, it starts with how you view and manage your health. To get out of the symptom treatment model and start looking for the cause. Stop treating the symptoms. We look for that. How can I feel better? And even people I see coming in, they're like, I have all these issues and I'm taking 84 supplements. Or I'm doing herbs and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. But they're still chasing around the symptoms. And that's certainly a better alternative for sure. But that's not really getting to the root cause. The root cause is understanding the effects of stress on your body and starting to change that. There's 3 main stresses that affect your health and are the trigger of all health issues. It's thoughts, toxins, and traumas. Physical, chemical, and emotional stresses, which we all have. I mean, there's no way to avoid these completely, but there's ways to minimize them by understanding where they exist. Where are they in your lifestyle? What bad habits do you currently have, and how can we start to change those? There's actually ways to help your body better deal with stresses so that way you have higher level of resiliency. Because there's 2 people that get exposed to the same thing. One gets sick, one doesn't. 2 people fall, one breaks a leg, one gets right back up. What's the difference? Well, what's going on the inside? How healthy is their body? What do their day-to-day habits look like? It's not, oh, bad luck for you, good luck for me. That's not really how it works. It works based upon your internal systems and environment. So that's what we focus on. So the goal of our 5 Essentials Health Program is to eliminate the stressors and help your body better adapt to the stresses that you're under so you work better. When you take care of the whole person and you get healthier, automatically you're going to have less pain and discomfort. You're likely going to have less headaches. You're going to have less digestive problems. You're going to sleep better. You're going to have more energy because your body's just working better. It's doing more of the things that it's designed to do, and it's number 1, to be healthy. So where does this come from? Well, it starts with your spine. Your spine is like a suit of armor. When you look at this here, your nervous system is your brain, your spinal cord, and all the individual nerves. These are all encased in your skull and in your spinal canal. That's why the spine is so important, and that's why chiropractic was founded on health, not back pain. When this suit of armor shifts out of its normal alignment, it puts stress on that nervous system. And what we know is that when you have headaches and migraines, a big cause of that is altered blood flow to the brain. Well, all that blood flow starts and passes through your spine. In fact, your spine is responsible for 90% of the nutrition and blood flow to your brain. 90%. So if you want your brain to work well, how important is it that you take care of your spine? Very important. Not just when it hurts. I tell people this all the time, and they tend to get it because dentists have done a way better job at explaining the need for regular dental care than chiropractors have about explaining the need for regular spinal care. Right? You know to brush your teeth. You know to floss your teeth. You know to check on it regularly. I tell people all the time, do you just brush your teeth when they hurt? They're like, no. Do we just brush it when they're like got yellow stains on them and they're turned black and all this stuff? Like, no. If you did that, could you expect to have healthy dental health? No. And you just know that because you've been taught for a long time. But what about your spine? Should we just look at it when it hurts? Or when you're getting headaches? Or when it's all degenerated and destroyed? Does that make any sense? No, but what if nobody told you? What if the first time you went to a chiropractor, you're 60 years old and your spine's already in really bad shape? Right? That's because nobody told you, and that's a big part of why we do education here on a regular basis. What affects blood flow to the brain? Subluxation. Your spine should have a specific alignment. In the neck, that's a good curve. So if this is healthy and normal, what is this when it reverses in the wrong way or it's straight? That affects the blood flow to your brain, right? This is why the number one trigger of headaches comes from the neck. Over 70% of the headaches people experience are cervicogenic from the neck. Is Excedrin going to fix this? No. Is Toradol going to fix this? Is a monthly injection going to fix this? Absolutely not. Nothing's going to fix this. Even if you had a super good diet and you took all the right supplements and you're really fit, is this going to fix it? No, it's not going to fix it. And this is why people are not getting better, because they're not getting to the root cause of the issue. Subluxation is not a back problem. Subluxation is a nerve problem. Does it affect your back? Sure, because your spine is a series of joints. So you can injure a joint. You can get joint misalignment and you can get soft tissue damage. Just like if you sprain your ankle or sprain your knee or hurt your shoulder, you're going to get inflammation. It's going to hurt. And if you injure it and don't heal it, you're going to get scar tissue formation. You're going to get aberrant movement. Over time, you can get arthritis and degeneration. Now, the spine is unlike any other joint in your body because it houses your nervous system. You hurt your elbow, it hurts your elbow. And maybe at worst case scenario, you could get some nerve entrapment because there's some nerves that pass through there, but that's relatively rare. But every time you injure your spine, you're injuring the nervous system. And that's injuring your health because the nervous system runs everything. So you're going to get nerve irritation. You're going to get lost imbibition. So imbibition is actually a pumping system of your spine that brings that nutrition to your brain. So if you injure one part of your spine, the pump of nutrition to your brain is also damaged, which could lead to headaches and a number of other issues. Eventually you get joint fixation, which creates stress. And now you're creating a stress response in that autonomic nervous system. And under stress is when your body's in fight or flight. And that's when things are breaking down, not building back up. You don't want to live here. And over time, a normal healthy disc, which controls the movement and absorption of stress on your spine, breaks down. It starts to degenerate. It can bulge. It can herniate. It can thin and break down. It can create growth and formation of the bones in the surrounding spine, which creates inflammation and spasms, and the whole system just goes down. And so a lot of people do have back problems because it's related to the joints. But that's also a health problem because these nerves go everywhere else in your body. That's what's so important to understand about your spine. And so subluxation creates nerve interference, and it affects your body's innate ability to heal and remain healthy. So say you had a car accident and it messed up your neck. From that day forward until you fix it, there's a breakdown process happening in your spine that's affecting your brain and nervous system. which may lead to headaches and migraines later on down the line. Or it may lead to pain into the shoulder or numbness and tingling, or it could lead to a thyroid problem or a sinus problem or a breathing issue, right? And most people wouldn't ever think to go look at their spine for that. They may look at it for the neck, but then they go in 6 times until the neck feels better, but never really fix the actual problem. The joint issue is the least of the concerns. It's the nerve issue that's the bigger problem. And that's what we focus on with holistic chiropractic. We're not a back pain clinic, we are a health clinic, where the goal is to optimize the function of your spine, not treat the pain or discomfort that you're under. The side benefit of that is most of the time the pain goes away too, because we're addressing the same issue. Now what we also know is that subluxation is the cause. Upper neck misalignment negatively impacts blood and cerebral spinal fluid to the brain. So we know migraines and headaches are caused by a lack of blood flow to the brain, and we also know that a subluxation of the spine, a misalignment, is negatively impacting the blood and cerebral spinal fluid to the brain. You see how the two correlate together? How can you fix one without the other? You just can't. Which is why most people never get rid of headaches, because they're not addressing the issue. Is there other issues outside the spine? Yes. And we're going to go through those today. But it's not going to get better absolutely if you don't address the spine first. So what causes subluxation? Part of the health journey is eliminating the causative factors. And there are many. Most common cause is physical stress, bad habits. Now we've all had injuries in our life. Car accidents, sports injuries, falls, these things happen. These are macro traumas. But the most common is actually what's called a micro trauma, things we do day in, day out. One of those is the devices that we use. What does everybody have in their pocket? Cell phone, tablet. What do most people do for work? They're on a computer all day. They're looking down. Now normally, when your head's upright, your head weighs about 10 to 12 pounds. That's normal. That's where your brainstem is. It's your spinal cord. That's all these nerves. If you look forward just 15 degrees, that more than doubles. 15 degrees, that's barely looking down. Say you're reading a book in bed. 15 degrees, 27 pounds now. 27 pounds. That's a lot. What if you're looking at 30 degrees? 40 pounds force on your cervical spine. 49 pounds at 45 degrees. 60 degrees, which is most common. How do people typically look on their phone? They're like this, right? You're on the bus or the train or in the parking lot. Poof, they were like this. 60 pounds. Almost 6 times the normal stress. You think that's good for your nervous system? No. Loss of the natural curve in your spine leads to incrementally increased stresses in the spine itself. These lead to wear, tear, degeneration, and possibly surgery. So the worse your posture is in your neck, the more stress there is to your spine. And that's affecting your brain and nervous system. That's why posture is so important. So in your packet here, we gave you as a little bonus, it actually talks about healthy spinal alignment. What is the spine supposed to look like? It's supposed to have a curve. It's supposed to be straight. What happens when it's not? And then it talks about how the nervous system is connected. So what is the levels of your spine? What do they actually control? This is really cool. The middle area goes through what do these nerves actually go to, depending on which part of your body, and what are the long-term effects of subluxation. And again, these are the late stage symptoms. And right there at the top, headaches and migraines. That's C1, because when your head goes forward like this, you're always going to compress that C1, always, because that's right at the top, right underneath your skull. And this is going to affect everything else all the way down. That's why we got to look at the neck first. And what happens about your posture? So over time, your spine actually changes its physical alignment. So one day like this isn't going to change your alignment, but a year of this, 6 months of this, 5 or 10 years of this, absolutely will. So now we're changing the structural alignment of your spine, which is create consistent stress and pressure, which means 24/7 there's spinal interference going on because the actual structure of your spine changed. That's the most severe effect of subluxation. And that's part of what we correct as well. We actually help people restore that structure and function as part of their care. And now the longer it's been there and the more degenerated your spine is, the harder it is to do. So the earlier you can start working on this, the easier it is. In fact, if you came in symptom-free, many times we can get near 100% correction. You never have to go through this. I ask people all the time. A lady came in the other day, 20 years of headaches and migraines. And I was like, first time to a chiropractor. She's 40. This started when she was 20. She had some injuries when she was a teenager to her neck, concussion, car accident, didn't take care of it. Started having headaches a couple years later, 20 years of this. And I was like, don't you wish someone told you this 20 years ago? I was like, absolutely. And now she's on the road to recovery, but that's not a quick fix. It's exactly that. It's a road. It takes time to be able to get better. Evidence shows that the more your head goes forward, the more likely you are to not just have headaches, but all-cause mortality goes up. They actually show physically that people with worse posture die faster of more chronic health conditions. You go look around the nursing home, what does everybody's posture look like? They all look like this. Right? You don't see anybody walking around vibrant. Maybe they work there or they're visiting somebody, but they're not a resident. You know, you see the older individuals maybe at the gym or out on the golf course. A lot of times, posture's pretty good. They're moving around. They take care of themselves. But these people, they're not the vibrant, healthy individuals. That's because of what it's doing to their nervous system. And they didn't just wake up one day like this. It slowly moved its way. And if once you're here, it's really hard to get back here. So we want to not let that happen. So the biggest headaches is the stress headaches. So that's physical stress from things we talked about, poor posture, old injuries, not taking care of your spine. But also there's emotional stress. Emotional stress can trigger headaches as well. You have a real stressful lifestyle, stressful work environment, stressful relationships. Well, that's affecting your blood flow too. That's putting your nervous system in this fight or flight state. So it's important to have healthy activities that reduce stress. When it comes to your spine, as you'll see on here, the most common is C1 to C7. So that's your neck. Cervicogenic tension headaches. But also you can get it in the upper back too. Sometimes people have so many issues in the upper back that it's actually pushing their head forward. And so that's why we look at everything to make sure we're getting to the cause of the problem. And this is mostly the physical stresses from macro and micro traumas. Now, sinus headaches is another one that's common. Now, there may be times where, hey, you're just sick and you're going to get a sinus headache and that's temporary. But a lot of people, they get them consistently. They're always stuffy. They always have sinus problems. There's a reason why that's happening. It's not just, again, bad luck. It's not just, oh, you have allergies. There's an underlying inflammatory issue that's coming from somewhere else in your body that's affecting that. Now, if you look on your chart here, C2, the second vertebra, goes to the sinuses. And right below that, go to the glands of the throat. So if you have a problem in your neck, C2, C6, C7, well, that's affecting your sinuses. That's directly affecting your eyes, ears, nose, and throat right there. So that could be why your sinuses aren't draining, why your ears aren't draining, why your lymphatic system's not working, is because it's clogged right here in your neck. And that could be the cause of those sinus headaches. How many people are looking at their neck to find the solution of what's going on? Migraine headaches. We talk about these being some of the most severe. Migraines are caused by that top part, from the occiput itself to C1, C2. Because what does that affect? Blood supply to the head. We need blood supply for the brain to work properly. When your brain is deficient in blood supply, you get a headache. But that also affects your balance and coordination right there. That affects your visual systems. That's why you can get also visual problems, dizziness, nausea, sensitivities, because that's what your brainstem does. It detects all those things. So if we're messing with your brainstem and putting stress and tension on there, well, it affects your other senses too. And that's why migraines can have these other added symptoms. Can also be caused in the lower back, because for some people it's hormonal. So some women get migraines at certain parts of the month, or they come on at certain stages in life, or before or after they have kids, or some other things. There's other causes that can trigger a migraine. And so that's actually regulated by your lower back. If you look at your lower back here, that regulates your reproductive organs, which is a big part of your hormones. It regulates your digestive system. So sometimes you can get inflammatory issues that trigger headaches and migraines, or you eat a certain type of food and it triggers it. That's coming from your gut. The gut directly connects to the brain through the nervous system. So if you have problems in other areas of your body, that could be triggering migraines too. That's why migraines are more complicated, right? Headaches, almost all the time, someone comes in with headaches, they start getting adjusted, their neck gets better, those headaches go away, like almost 100% of the time. But migraines can be more complicated because there's other factors going on in there that could be contributing to that, especially if it's been going on for a long time. So those ones typically take some more time. Sometimes they go away right away, but sometimes they don't, and we have to dive deeper. That's why we do a lot of other things here in our office, like nutrition and gut health and detox and all these other things, because those stresses matter too. So we want to address all of those. So another belief is, I've had this going on for a long time. There's just nothing I can do. My doctor says there's nothing I can do. How many times do you hear that? Oh, there's nothing you can do? You're just old, you're just this, you're just that, you're just going to have to deal with it. Here's your drugs, right? Come back to refill it next time. It's just, you're stuck with this. That's not a very empowering belief, right? And if you start to believe that, well, then you're not going to take actions to get better because you don't believe you can get better. You're like, I guess I'm just stuck with it. That's just my life. That's just the hand I was dealt. So I just got to keep going. But that's not true. The truth is that you can get better. What we know through all kinds of research from hundreds of different articles that adjustments of misalignments, subluxation, they call it misalignment in a research study, has a positive impact on headaches and migraines. In fact, they found that a high percentage of people who are getting adjusted compared to other modalities, medications, other things, saw greater relief both in the frequency and intensity of the headaches, and a high percentage have had 100% reduction for the rest of their life as long as they kept up with it. And there's no side effects. There's no injections. There's no surgery. Right? You just help your body work better. The side effects are health benefits. So there's three things that we focus on in our health approach called the three-legged stool. We want to break bad habits that caused it. Stop jacking up your spine with bad habits. Stop eating unhealthy foods. Stop having chemicals all over your house. We're going to talk about some of those stresses. Sometimes you don't even know. You don't even know this is bad for me. You don't even know that Glade plug-in is stimulating your migraines. But it is. You don't know that eating a certain type of food or a certain preservative or a certain type of pesticide is triggering your migraines. But it is. And so that's why number one is we have to identify what are the bad habits, which is why you come to classes and workshops like this, and then create healthy habits that start to eliminate them. Number two is we want to create specific exercises and plans to take care of the most important system, your spine. The same reason you brush your teeth every day, the same reason why you want to do spinal health exercises, which is why we give everybody home care. Home care is you're brushing your teeth. It's moving your spine in a specific way. It's decompressing your neck and spinal cord. It's bringing oxygen and blood flow into the surrounding tissue. It's hydrating those discs to prevent breakdown and arthritis. And it's pumping that nutrition to your brain. Other exercises are to improve your posture so you can actually get those curves back, to strengthen and stabilize your spine so it's harder to injure and create subluxation so it actually becomes more resilient to the stresses around you. So those exercises are really important. And like most exercise, it only works if you do it, right? You don't look at the weights at the gym and get more fit. You can't just look at the traction on the wall and look at the neck wedge and the wobble disc and your spine gets healthier. You actually got to do it. And you don't do it like 3 or 4 times. You do it consistently, right? It becomes part of your routine. Ideally, it's done every day. That would be ideal, but at least multiple times per week. Now, again, not just when your back hurts, like, oh, I've jacked up my back, so I did my exercises all day today, right? That may help you feel better that day, but it's not contributing to your long-term health journey. Does that make sense? I think that's so important. I think it's one of the biggest things I struggle with is people start feeling better. It's like, how's it going with that home care? Oh, I kind of stopped doing it. It's like, well, it's not supposed to make you feel better. It's supposed to get you healthy. And it's designed to continue to work, and that's how you get over here, right? That's that right side. The right side is what you do when you feel good. That's the part that I really have to explain to people too. Like this entire side of health, you're feeling good at this point. Everything you do just to get to neutral is getting you out of the acute zone, right? That's the just acute work, but this is where health exists. When you're good is when you make the biggest advancements in your health, not over here. This is survival. This is thriving on this side. And that's why it's done every day. And the chiropractic adjustment, that's the only thing that corrects subluxation. And it's, again, something you do for the rest of your life. I plan to get adjusted for the rest of my life. I still get adjusted once or twice a week. Doesn't matter if it hurts or not. Just part of that health maintenance. There's a number of other things I do too because I don't want to deal with this stuff. Do I get headaches sometimes? Very, very rarely. Do I have stuff that comes up? It happens. But I know the plan is this is just my body telling me something's going on. How do we actually get better? So part of that is our diet. That's a chemical stress. Right? We probably know that an apple is healthier than a donut. But if you're sitting there and you have the two sitting in front of you, which one do you typically reach for? What if you had a bad day? What if you feel like, oh, I had a great day. I should be rewarding myself. I'm going to have a donut today. What if it's what's available that morning when you show up at work? So this is what happens is it's habits. What is your nutrition habit? Are you consistently eating whole, fresh, organic foods? Are you consistently paying attention to the quality of your foods? Is there a plan for your nutrition, or is it just kind of like, oh, I think I'm hungry. What should I eat? What do we got? Oh, don't have anything. Let's order in. Let's go here. Let's do this, right? Our diet, our standard American diet, is horribly inflammatory. We have the worst food, which is why we have the most overweight people and we have the most sick people. In fact, you get people from other countries come here and they're like, oh, your food is horrible. Because it is. It's so bad. So quality matters. You got to pay attention to the quality of your food, right? You want to get organic as much as possible. You want to get non-GMO as much as possible. You want to think about, like, what did this food or animal or whatever, what does their environment look like? If their environment is stressful and toxic and sick, and well, what do you think you're going to get from that, right? If you got a whole barn full of chickens that are all on top of each other and 50 of them are dead and they were injected with a bunch of antibiotics and hormones and chemicals and they're fed genetically modified grain and corn, like, are you going to get healthy nutrition from that? No, you're going to get sickness, you're going to get disease, you're going to get inflammation, you're going to get all these things. What about food? Are you going to get healthy food that was sprayed on a bunch of chemicals, that was genetically modified, that has a bunch of Roundup in it, and then that goes into you? No, no good. But what do most people do? This is what they do. They don't pay attention to the quality of their food whatsoever. Maybe they look at how much sugar's in it or how much fat or how many calories, but they're not looking at, like, well, where did it come from? What are the sources? Is it organic and healthy? That's what I want you to focus on, right? Look at what's the quality of the food that you're ingesting. And when you're getting good quality food, don't you feel better, right? How much better do you feel after you eat maybe like a healthy salad versus a piece of cake or a big cheeseburger, right? It may taste good while you're eating it, but then afterwards you're like, ugh, I don't feel good. Versus you eat something nice and healthy, you're like, oh, I feel good. I don't feel overfull. I feel nice, like I'm clear. What if your whole day was like that? What if your whole life was like that, right? And then maybe you have a cheeseburger and it barely affects you because your standard is really good. Your bar's here. And so you can have a little bit of this, but if your bar's here, then your only way to go is to go back down. So one of the things that triggers headaches and migraines is sugar, because sugar is inflammatory. And so do oils. So a lot of the damaged oils that's in all our healthy food, like canola oil and vegetable oil and corn oil, all this stuff is super processed, crazy inflammatory. It disrupts your gut, which can trigger what's going on with your nervous system. It creates stress and inflammation. So again, that's why it's important to pay attention to the quality of your food. Why do you want to get organic? Like, oh, organic's more expensive. Is this really necessary? There is 3 million tons of pesticides used each year around the world that goes into your food. And this also goes into our water, which is why you need filtered water and all this other stuff. But think about that. These are just some of the things that it causes. Nervous system disorders, immune system suppression, cancer, diabetes, reproductive damage, hormone damage, more brain issues, migraine, headaches, developmental delays. It's attacking your nervous system. And if your nervous system controls your health and we're attacking the nervous system with what we eat every day, that's a contributory factor. So if you've been doing some of these things and you're getting adjusted, but your migraines are sure going away, let's look at your diet. What are you eating? What's the quality of your food? Is that a plan? Is that what you're doing most of the time, or is that what you're doing some of the time? Now, nobody's perfect. Right? Every once in a while, you're going to have a pizza. You're going to have this or that. You're on vacation and you have a piece of cheesecake. Like, don't kick yourself for that. But what does your day-to-day look like? What is your standard? That's what you really want to change. When your standard is health, you can have some deviation. When your standard is unhealthy, you're going to consistently have problems. Another one is environmental toxins. So there's a level of environmental toxins we can't necessarily control. There's things in the air. There's things around us. But there's a lot that you can control if you know where to start looking. So the best place to look is your house. Your house is full of toxins all over the place, especially if it's new. Comes from your laundry, right? Are you using Tide? Are you using, whatever you saw in the commercial? Horribly toxic, that blue gel crap, like not good for you. All kinds of toxins in there. There's fragrances. These things trigger migraines. Fragrances trigger migraines because there's certain kinds of toxins in there. There's neurotoxins in fragrances. So are perfumes. Certain types of air fresheners, things in your personal care products that have scents trigger migraines because they're neurotoxins that are in there. So you want to avoid these things. There's natural solutions. We get things from doTERRA. We get things from Norwex. There's all kinds of organic stuff that you can get at local health food stores. So make sure when you're using things to clean with that you're using natural alternatives. Bathroom, right? Do you think Clorox bleach is good for you? 409, all these things, right? Would you ingest any of those? What does it smell like when you're in there? Sometimes you're in there and you walk in the bathroom, it's like, oh, that triggers your headache. What does that bleach smell like, right? That's toxins. Now that's getting into your nervous system and that's causing damage. So you want to use natural cleaners, vinegar. There's certain types of natural cleaning products. There's plant-based products that are pretty much just as effective. Now, sometimes they're not as effective, but do we really need like the super sanitary, absolutely spotless bathroom all the time? Maybe occasionally once a year you go in and do like a deep clean, but that shouldn't be the day-to-day, right? That shouldn't be what's in there all the time. The bedroom, what kind of sheets do you use, right? Are you using an air filter? What kind of stuff are you using on your clothes? All this stuff makes a difference. Do you have fresheners in the air? Do you have an air filter in your room? Kitchen, all kinds of stuff in the kitchen, right? Well, again, cleaning products, what are you using for those? What about storage? How are you storing things? Are you using plastic containers? Are you using Teflon pans, right? All the disposable stuff leaks toxins into your body, especially the plastics. The plastics have endocrine disruptors, which is affecting your hormones and part of what triggers migraines. So you want to use glass wherever possible. You should almost never use plastic bottles, plastic storageware. Your microwave, oh my gosh, the microwave is so bad for you. Most countries in the world have banned microwaves. You can't even use them, but they're still everywhere. Every house comes with the microwave. Horribly toxic to your food. If you have a microwave, stop using it. Get rid of it completely. Teflon pans, there's a lot of alternatives now, but that Teflon comes off. There's heavy metals in there. There's neurotoxins in there. There's endocrine disruptors in there. You want to get rid of that. So if you have any kind of old school Teflon, get rid of that. Toss it. Your food, what is it stored in? A lot of cans have BPA linings, which is the toxicity in there. So how is it stored? Where did it come from? Do you have a bunch of processed food or is it more fresh type food, right? The living room, a lot of the same things. What kind of fresheners are you using? What kind of cleaners are you using? Where does your stuff come from? So really paying attention to your most common environment makes a big difference. Do you change your HVAC filters? What does that look like? When's the last time you looked at those, right? And it's got like a half an inch of dust in there, right? That's blowing back through the house, right? You're breathing that stuff. So pay attention. I mean, you got to really take care of your house. And when you have a plan, okay, I check these things so often. I only use these products. These are the cleaners that I use. This is the laundry stuff that I use. You're drastically minimizing that toxic burden on your body. So your body can handle a lot more. And there's specific nutrition that helps your body naturally detox because you have these detox systems. You have a liver, you have a kidney, you have a digestive system. This is to eliminate toxins, but it can only handle so much. If we're constantly bombarding with these things, it's hard for your body to utilize that and it starts overflowing. So we want to get things like magnesium on a regular basis, chlorella, which comes from plants, psyllium, which is like a big source of fiber. Activated charcoal has all kinds of amazing health benefits. They even say if you use this regularly, you're going to live longer. Specific types of proteins, superoxide dismutase, I don't actually know where that actually comes from. I only take it in supplements. But these are things that help with strengthening your detox organs so they actually work better. So you're changing out your body's filters. The same reason why you want to change the filter in your house or in your car is the same reason you want to change your body filters because those get clogged too. If you're always exposed to toxins or have been in the past, the filters may still be clogged. So going through and doing detoxing for a period of time helps change out the filters. Just like you would change your filters once a quarter or a couple times a year, you should do a specific detox a couple of times a year, at least, to cleanse out the filters, to cleanse out your cells, to strengthen those detox pathways. This helps eliminate chemical stresses, which triggers less headaches and migraines. There's lots of ways to detox your body. The most simple one we use is the detox system. This is a 30-day whole body cleansing where we're going in and we're pulling toxins out of the cells and tissues of your body, like changing the filters. And part 2 is strengthening the detox pathways. And it has magnesium, it has psyllium husk, it has activated charcoal. It has these things in the detox, so you're actually bringing nutrition in, helping the detox process so it continues to work better. So it's not just a cleansing, it's a strengthening of those pathways. And so this is a big way to not only minimize chemical stress, but better help your body deal with it as well. And this is a 30-day detox. It can be taken in 2 weeks if you double it up. This is one of those things that you do anywhere from 2 to 4 times a year to change out your filters consistently. Another thing that really helps is exercise. There's all kinds of health benefits to exercise, but part of it is most people just are not moving. A majority of our population is completely sedentary, which means they don't move at all. Sometimes there's physical reasons, sometimes there's health concerns. Well, we want to fix those too. And as you're getting healthier, well, now you can start exercising again. And as you start exercising, there's all kinds of benefits to exercise. It improves your endorphins, which makes you feel better. You're going to get more oxygen and blood flow to the brain because you're moving your body. You're going to get all those clogged pathways moving in there. It's good for your heart, which carries a lot of the oxygen in your body. It changes your body composition. So if you're well overweight or you have an unhealthy composition in your body, well, that's going to create stress. It's going to create stress physically to your spine and your body. It's going to create inflammation in your body. So having exercise regularly also helps your mood, helps your sleep, and hormones. Hormones are part of what stimulates migraines and headaches sometimes. By exercising more, you're going to have a better hormonal balance in your body because you're going to get a secretion of good hormones. You're going to get a secretion of growth hormone. You're going to get a secretion of testosterone, which women need testosterone too because testosterone helps regulate estrogen and estrogen helps regulate progesterone. So they all work together. So you're like, oh, I don't need that because I'm a woman. Well, actually you do because that affects the other hormones in your body. So you want to have these healthy habits like moving your body consistently. So that's why in your packet here, after you go through the ergonomic setup, make sure you check this out. What kind of chair are you using? What does your setup look like? What is a good computer situation? What is not? The toxic list got cut off a little bit. Sorry about that, but there's some on there. But there's some exercises you can do. Some home exercises, some ways to move your body. Some are more advanced than others. But just getting in the habit of moving your body consistently helps with your health journey. And part of exercising is making sure that you're hydrated. So another trigger of headaches is dehydration because it affects oxygen and blood flow to the brain. And if you're dehydrated, it puts your body in a state of stress. So a rule of thumb is you should drink half your body weight in ounces per day. So if you weigh 100 pounds, that's 50 ounces of water. If you weigh 200 pounds, that's 100 ounces of water. It's not just 8 glasses of water per day. That fits for a small segment of people. There's a lot of people that need more, and there's people that need less. Your 30-pound child doesn't need 8 glasses of water, right? That's too much. But your 250-pound friend doesn't need 8 glasses of water either. That's way too little. You need a lot more because it's about your body composition. So part of the reason if people are like, oh, I'm having a headache, I'm like, did you drink water? Well, no. Okay, well, let's drink some water because you need that water for your body to work off. And you have some water, like, oh, I feel better, right? That's why when you go in higher elevation, a lot of times you get headaches because it dehydrates you and it decreases the blood flow to your brain. So what do? You drink a whole bunch of water because what does water have in it? Oxygen. And what does your body need? Oxygen, right? So that's why they say when you're in higher elevation, drink a bunch of water because if you don't, what do you end up getting? Headache, dizziness, all kinds of stuff. You pound a couple things of water, oh, I feel better, right? That's why. You want to have good water, right? You don't want to just drink tap water. Tap water is horrible. It's full of toxins. It's totally bad. You want to get cleansed water, filtered out water. Have a water filter that you use for your house. That's a great investment. Air filter, water filter. These are amazing for you and your health benefits. Use the right drinking receptacles. You don't want to use a plastic bottle. You want to use stainless steel. You want to use glass, right? That's what's a lot better for you. So that way you're not leaching those toxins in. You don't want to reuse a plastic water bottle because toxins are being leached in from that. If you do get a bottle of water, drink it once and then it's done. You don't keep refilling it. And also you want to make sure you're getting electrolytes. So electrolytes are really huge too because you may be drinking water, but that water doesn't have enough magnesium. It doesn't have enough minerals. Maybe you have a reverse osmosis machine. And these are things that most people are deficient in. Sodium, potassium, and magnesium. So a lack of electrolytes can also stimulate muscle issues and muscle tension, which can contribute to headaches and migraines. It can affect dehydration and how your cells actually absorb water because you need potassium and sodium to bring water into your cells. It's called the sodium-potassium pump. If you're deficient in these, even if you drink a bunch of water, it doesn't actually get into your cells. You probably had like a big glass of water and you feel like it's just floating around in your stomach and blah, 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 swishing around. It's because it's not actually getting absorbed. And then it just goes right through and your pee is white, right? Because you didn't even use it. That's what electrolytes do. Electrolytes help bring hydration into your cells, so you're actually getting hydrated. And it has other benefits which calm down muscle tension. So you can see here, better energy, better performance, heart and brain health, immune system and hormonal health. A lot of these things can affect headaches and migraines. I do these packs every day. If it's like a hot day, I'm out on the golf course, I'll take 2 of these and I feel so much better. You don't feel drained and tired. And these are some of the best. There's a lot of electrolytes out on the market that are just horrible. They have sucralose and they have artificial flavors and they don't even have good sources of these nutrients. Element's one of the better ones. It doesn't have any artificial sweeteners. It uses stevia. It's all natural. It's healthy sources of this and it really does work. So that's why you want to have these available. They have these little packets so you can actually put them in your purse or take them with you, use them, drink it first thing in the morning, drink it when you're out, stressful day at work. These are available for you. You also want to make sure you're sleeping. A lack of sleep is a cause of headaches because it puts your body in a state of stress. If you're constantly not sleeping, how do you feel? You don't feel good, right? You feel tired, you feel overwhelmed, your nervous system is stressed and it's fight or flight, your muscles are more tense because you didn't get to recover. So sleep's important. Sleep could be your sleep environment, it could be your nighttime routine, it could be your mattress and your sleep technology, right? Do you have an old nasty mattress that has like dents in it and springs and haven't been replaced in 20 years, right? You still have one of those big fluffy pillows that does this to your neck or this, and that's causing tension on your neck all night. You wake up and you have a headache or your neck's stiff and tense, right? Do you watch TV all the way up to the time you go to bed, or you're on your phone, a device, which is messing with the chemicals and hormones of your brain, right? What does that routine look like? So having a good night routine and giving yourself the time, 7 to 8 hours of sleep is what's normal.
Wouldn't say 9 for women.
It depends. For the most part, again, this is not for everybody, but 7 to 8 is what's considered optimal. Some people need more, but nobody needs less. Yes, there's a book I read called Why We Sleep. It's like a 9-hour book of sleep research. It's kind of boring. But one of the things he talked about is they studied thousands and thousands of people because there's people like, oh, I can sleep 5 hours and I'm fine. What they found was it was like less than 0.5% of people that they studied could actually sleep less than 7 hours consistently and actually get good sleep. So, nope, that's probably not you. So if you're like, I could get 6 hours. No, you can't. You're always taking away from that. And I used to think that like, I could sleep 6 hours, but things would show up, right? I even did wear an Oura ring and it would show your sleeps less. Like now, if I sleep less than 7 hours, I'm always on the lower end, always. But if I sleep 8 hours, 7 or 8 hours, I'm good. If I sleep more than 8 hours, sometimes it actually goes down a little bit, too much sleep. Right? You maybe fell asleep for like 8, 9, or 10 hours and you wake up and you're still tired. You actually slept too much. So there is like an optimal amount of sleep that you need. And there's even an optimal time of sleep, depending on the times of the year, but it's usually a couple hours after it gets dark and then right before the sun comes up. That's actually like the most beneficial time of sleep. So we have a headache bundle that we put together that incorporates a lot of these things. So element, right, that's the electrolytes. Magnesium, we talked about the importance of magnesium, how it helps your body detox, how it calms down your muscles. It's good for your brain and nervous system health. The detox system, so that's your body's cleanser. We want to get those chemical toxins out of there. And curcumin. So curcumin plus, this has support for your nervous system and it also reduces inflammation. Inflammation is a trigger of headaches and other issues in your body. So when you're using these things, they are not like a headache treatment. It's not like I'm having a headache today. Let me bust out the curcumin and the magnesium and the detox. It can help, absolutely. If you take all these things, you're probably going to feel better and have less of a headache. But if you do it consistently, you're probably not going to have headaches at all, which is the goal, right? We're not here just treating it. We're wanting to get rid of it. So if it's like, hey, I've been doing these things and I still have headaches, or you know people that are having headaches regularly, start with getting them this. Like, hey, let's get the headache bundle so we have the nutrition and the support that we need for our bodies to be healthy. And that's 15% off today only to help you get the resources that you need. And then it's been our product of the month, so we have those available here in the office as well. So that's what you're going to see on this next area here is the product of the month, the headache bundle, the element. You can get any flavor. And then these are what they are, the magnesium, the curcumin, the detox. Those are available.
Do you take them all like at the same time?
You can take them all at the same time. The detox is meant to be taken in the morning and the evening. The curcumin and magnesium you can take anytime, and the element, same thing. You could take it anytime. Yeah, you could take it all together if you want. This is the only one that has to be split because part of it is the night. It's like a binder. So at the end of the day, it binds to all the stuff we've been pulling out and helps with the elimination process. So you want to take that body detox at the end of the day. All the rest of them you can take whenever you like. Most important thing is correcting the cause, which means we're getting to the issues with the spine and nervous system. So when we talk about chiropractic, most people that have been to a chiropractor have done pain relief chiropractic care, right? Your back hurts, you come get adjusted. Your neck hurts, you're in a car accident, you go there. You got 12 visits on your insurance, you use those up, come back when it hurts again, right? It's not a corrective technique. It's not consistently correcting subluxation. It's not going to restore your long-term health. It can help you feel better, but that's what we call chiropractic, right? It's just like taking a pill, except it's a bit more natural. It can help you feel better, but it's not fixing anything. Corrective chiropractic is totally different. The goal of corrective chiropractic care is to restore the health of your brain and nervous system, and that happens through your spine. And that's consistent and long-term. It's improving your posture, it's strengthening the structure of your spine, it's regular movement, it's checking in on it through exams and x-rays. Typically in pain relief, you don't do that. Maybe you get an x-ray once, you never get another one again. For the most part, they never get an x-ray. There's not really an evaluation, right? You walk into the joint, they just throw you on the table, you get adjusted, you walk out, right? For some people, their goal is pain relief, and that works. But if your goal is to get healthy, that's a different approach. And it requires multiple things. Number one, you got to do home care, right? We can't change your structure of your spine with adjustments alone because you have to retrain the different systems. If you're young and healthy, kids, babies, adolescents, we can. But if you've had decades of issues, it's really hard to change the structure of your spine. It has to be retrained like braces, right? You don't just go in there one time and the dentists are like, poop, poop, poop. Okay, teeth are good, right? You continually adjust the braces over the course of months and years. And even after the braces, what do you got to wear? You got to wear a retainer, right? If you got braces and the dentist said you got to wear these for 5 years and you take them off at 2 years and don't wear your retainer, are you mad that your teeth went back? You probably are, but it's like, that's exactly what they told you was going to happen. Say, hey, you needed this, you needed that. So like, there's a recommendation like, hey, you should do these things, and you don't do them, then you know you're not there, right? It's like, oh, okay, you wore your braces. Now it's time to wear your retainer, which is your wellness care. We're still coming and get adjusted once a week, every other week, whatever that is. But you choose not to do that. You can't be mad that, oh, my problems are coming back, right? Because that was part of the process, is continually taking care of it. And there's also additional things. Sometimes people have disc injuries. Sometimes people have spinal degeneration. They have all these other problems that adjustments alone aren't going to fix. So that's why we use spinal decompression. So when your spine is degenerated and broken down, it's going to damage these discs. And maybe you're getting nerve compression in your neck that's contributing to the headaches and migraines. Well, you need to decompress those discs to be able to heal that. They've actually shown that disc herniation and bulging on an MRI will change with consistent decompression. So you're actually healing the damaged discs. So if you're getting disc issues, if you're getting nerve pain, sciatic pain, numbness and tingling, or chronic pain that's not going away, well, maybe you need to do more to improve the health of your spine. We need to add additional things in to help that happen. Sometimes it's consistent tissue issues. You had old injuries. Your neck's just so tight and tense that no matter how much we try to move it, it's just stuck here because there's scar tissue buildup. There's fibrotic tissue in there. Well, shockwave goes in and breaks that up. It actually breaks up the damaged tissue to allow it to re-heal. It's a crazy cool new technology. Through these waves go down into the tissues, breaks all that up, and can restore that motion and function, where your body's actually regenerating healthy tissue. It's really cool. So these are some things that we have available for patients who get to that point where it's not correcting their problem, or it's a more advanced condition, or maybe you hit a wall or a peak or plateau. It's like, hey, I still can only move my neck 50%. Well, this is another thing that can get you closer to that 100%, which will help the next step in achieving this. So again, if you're getting to that level and you feel like I've made a good amount of progress, but I'm not there yet, these are other things that can help take you to that next level and give you another new set point in your health and in your function. And we have this available right here in the clinic. If you're not a chiropractic patient, first thing you want to do is check your spine. And there's a specific way to be able to do that. To detect correct subluxation, we do instrumentation, which is nerve scans, where we measure your nervous system, we measure your posture, we measure your neurological function to your muscles and your tissues and organs. We look at how your spine moves. We feel how it looks and how much tension there is. We look at your static posture and look for any shifts or deviations. And we take an x-ray. Right? These are the 5 things that you need to do to effectively diagnose subluxation. If you go see a chiropractor and they're not doing at least these 5 things, you know you're not getting corrective care. Maybe they feel your spine a little bit and look at your posture, but they don't take an x-ray. Or they don't measure your nervous system and how stress it's under. Or they don't look at movement or these other things. They just kind of feel around. It's like, that feels like it needs to get adjusted today, right? You need to be doing all these things and consistently checking back on these over time, like re-x-ray, re-evaluation, re-exam. How's your body adapting? How's it changing? 2 years from now, it's going to be different than it was, right? So we're not using those same old x-rays from 5 years ago to still adjust your spine. We're using the x-rays from last month or the most recent year because things change over time. And so that's the key to long-term care, is you're constantly upgrading and course correcting along the way. And that's part of what we do. And realizing subluxation is not a health problem or not a back problem, it's a health problem. And that's why we have that chart. I want you to keep that chart and show it to others. It's like, hey, I'm getting this issue. It's like, look at this in your spine. Have you looked at this? This is why you need to see a chiropractor here, right? You're still dealing with the back pain, but that's also what's causing your sciatica. And that's what's causing your irregular periods and your digestive problems. Like, have you been to a chiropractor? Look at this. No, most people haven't. And they might even think you're a little bit crazy at first for suggesting that. But once you realize how your body works, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. And chiropractors are the only doctors that are specifically trained to detect and correct subluxation. There's lots of people who can crack your back. Maybe your massage therapist can crack your back. You can have your husband or wife walk on your back and it cracks. You can have your friend bear hug you and your back cracks. You can do this and your back cracks. Maybe your physical therapist cracks your back. These are all manipulations of your spine. That is not a correction of subluxation. If there wasn't a specific x-ray, knowing where it was, there wasn't a specific exam, you're cracking the back, right? You're going to get some euphoria from that, and that's it. You're not correcting subluxation. You're not fixing the problem. You're not going to restore the structure of your spine. You're not changing your neurology. You're cracking your back. That's it, right? May feel good now, but it's a hot tub experience. You're back where you started tomorrow. It's the same stuff. So that's why you want to see a qualified chiropractor, right? This is another dangerous belief. Well, if I just do nothing, maybe it's just going to go away, right? They're not going to go away if you ignore them. Maybe they can for a period of time, but if it keeps showing up, there's a problem. There's a problem, right? Take care of it. And what we found was when people get chiropractic care over long periods of time, their health outcomes are radically better. This is one of the best long-term studies ever done for holistic health, where they followed patients for 7 years. 7 years. A group of people that were getting regular chiropractic, which is considered at least every other week. Sometimes people say, I go to the chiropractor regularly, and they go like twice a year. That's not regular. Regular is at least every other week. That's what the research shows. So at least every other week, and their primary care was the chiropractor. Like, that's who they went to for their issues. The other group was primary care is a medical doctor. So what they found was the chiropractic group, 60% less hospitalizations. Who loves going to the hospital? It's like the worst place to go, and it's the sickest place to go. 59% less days. So you showed up in the hospital, you were out way faster because the problems were less severe. Less surgeries. So if you did go to the hospital and you had an issue, there was less likelihood you were going to get some type of a surgery, and your recovery was probably going to be better. And my favorite is 85% less pharmaceutical costs because you're not treating or managing a symptom that you're correcting. And so that just really goes to show the value of long-term chiropractic care. How much does all this stuff cost? How much does it cost to go to the hospital? Yeah, how much does it cost to take drugs every single month? Some people are spending hundreds, thousands of dollars on this, right? The average American here, $8,800 a year, medical expenses. This is your insurance. This is visits to the doctor. This is copays. This is deductibles. This is all the stuff that goes into medical care, $8,800 a year. Once a week chiropractic in our office is like $2,300 a year. And you're saving all this. And the research shows you're likely going to live longer, you're going to have better quality of life, and you're going to have less issue. Which one's a better investment?
You're going to feel better.
Yeah, exactly, right? If you could save yourself $6,500 a year, that you could also invest in better nutrition, better healthy habits, right? Better products. You're still saving money. Your quality of health and life is so much better. Everybody should know this. Everybody should know this. And a lot of people are even able to get off regular insurance plans and move to like a medical share or something different where it's drastically less and you're not having to use it. And it's there for emergencies if you need it, right? Something happens, you fall off the roof and break your leg, right? You're not stuck with a $50,000 hospital bill. And you're out in less time and you're probably not getting surgery. That's why it's so valuable to do this long term. So it's not just a quick fix. It's not just a short term thing. this is why it's important your whole family comes in. So if you're coming in on your own, I encourage you to tell your family. You have friends, other people that are suffering with headaches, migraines, have you seen a chiropractor? There's chiropractors that do what we do in other areas, but there's not a lot of them, right? So you want to make sure you're seeing the right type of people. It's not just go to anybody. Go to the person who's going to be able to help you and have a plan for your health. And that's what the 5 essentials is all about. It starts with chiropractic, and then we incorporate these other things too, because that's part of the causative factors. So as you're getting adjusted, you work on eating better, having better mindset, moving better, eliminating those toxins we talked about, detoxing and cleansing your body regularly. When you're following this 5 essentials plan, your health is going to be radically better. Does stuff happen? Sure. But it's a lot less, and the outcomes are way better over time. So that's why we do classes and things like this, so you can come and learn. Obviously not a lot of people here today, but we're going to share this as much as possible online. I found more people consume information online than they do in person, unfortunately. But we want to get this to as many people as possible. So take care of this for yourself, and then share it with people that you know about. You're going to have less headaches and migraines, and for many, you're going to resolve it completely.